more I read, the more I became convinced that, when I did round the Horn, I would do it the only way that counted, doubling the Horn from east to west. Villiers laid down the gauntlet in The Way of a Ship. Sailors in the sailing ship era, when they spoke of rounding the Horn, meant to sail westwards from the latitude of 50 south in the Atlantic, down past the Horn, and then fight back to 50 south latitude in the Pacific. Nothing else was counted, for the eastward passage before the westerly gales was reckoned no rounding at all. First, of course, I needed to learn to sail, a small detail. That finally happened when I abandoned my floundering college pole vaulting career and traded in my cleats for an engineless sailboat in tropical waters. But I was still floundering. I was stranded on every sandbar between Miami and Key West. But I learned not only how to sail, but also how to navigate. Then I went on to cross the Atlantic. Cape Horn to Starboard takes you along on these adventures and misadventures. It's an honest book. Improbably, we set off for Cape Horn in the fall of 1983, about 3 years after I decided to become a sailor. It was a miraculous project, really, with the noble intention of retracing the route of the famous 19th-century clipper ships. I was the captain and chief bottle washer of this enterprise, but in reality I was a bungling college dropout from the suburbs masquerading as an old salt. But I kept learning, and I fought, and I cried, and I fought some more. My crew buoyed my spirits, and I theirs. I just kept steering south, figuring the Horn would turn up sooner or later. Together with my partner and benefactor, Ty Teixeira, the owner of our wonderful little boat, I rounded the Horn on January 31st, 1984. It's hard to believe that was 26 years ago. The memory of that day is chiseled on my cortex. That's when I learned that the Horn is a real place, not defined by lines on a chart or words in a book. We passed close aboard, literally sailing in the shadow of the Horn, but we didn't whoop and yell. We hardly celebrated at all. We had come so far, and we had so far to go. Rounding the Horn was nice, but soon it was forgotten as we angled for sea room in the Pacific. A childhood dream, a reaction, or maybe overreaction to the deaths of my father and sister, a test of perseverance. Rounding Cape Horn didn't make me a better man, just a man. I must confess I am pleased that Cape Horn to Starboard is being republished. I am thankful that Peter Burford of Burford Books believes in the book enough to bring it out for a new generation of readers. I am grateful that my friend Dallas Murphy, a writer and sailor, saw the charm of the book that went beyond the youthful writing. Paul Gelder, the former editor of the English magazine Yachting Monthly, always championed this little book. Mostly, I want to thank my wife Taji for encouraging me to keep this long-ago story alive. For years, as I became a successful delivery captain and sailing writer, I distanced myself from the bungling dreamer who stars in this imperfect narrative and would have happily let the story slip away. Now, I am happy that wiser heads prevailed. These days, as I help other aspiring blue-water sailors learn some of Neptune's tricks by conducting training passages aboard my 47-foot sloop Quetzal, it's helpful to remember my own false starts and idiotic mistakes as I struggled to become a sailor. Maybe the message of Cape Horn to Starboard reaches beyond geography and sailing. Today, as my own kids face the tough choices that have to be made as they navigate past adolescence, it feels right to revisit this story. Setting off for the Horn, I was charged with passion and at times too much bluster, but rarely hubris. I was lucky. I had a destination. I hope they find their Cape Horn and the day when it changes from metaphor to reality. John Kretschmer, Fort Lauderdale, August 2010. Preface. The Call of the Horn. We who have seen the Horn, beating around it under square sail or running to the east past the Isles of